Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today's video I kind of talked about doing in the past and I just never got around to doing it. And when I was about to film, they came out with 5 new shades. So if you read the description, I am ranking all of my Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. So I have 10 of the original shades, the ones that are sparkly, shimmery, the original formula. And then I also did get all 5 of the new matte formulas. So I am including all of them. So I have 15. If you hear yelling, that's my son. But I have all 15 and I'm going to be mixing them. Obviously they are 2 very different formulas, but they still are the Eyes to Mesmerize. But if you didn't see my review of the matte Eyes to Mesmerize, I'll put a card right up here. Now, I will say, I'm one of the very few people that actually liked them, at least on YouTube. There are people that have put in the comments that they liked it too, but pretty much as far as YouTube, I think I'm the only one. So I will say I continue to like them. I continue to use them. I do prefer the original formula more just because I like more of a sparkly, kind of eye, but I do prefer the matte formula, especially for like everyday or for certain occasions. So I'll get into each one and some that I like, that I don't like, etc. But that's what I'm doing today. I'm ranking all 15 Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize that I own. So I do own all the shades that are currently sold. I do have 2 that are discontinued. I think one says out of stock, but I believe it was limited edition, and then one that was definitely discontinued. But I do have all the current shades. There are one, I think it was Golden Eclipse, that I never got, and there was also I think a blue shade or something that I never got either. So I got into them after, but any of the current shades I do own. So we're gonna start with number 15, and if you did watch my matte review, it is the Nude Cashmere. So this is the matte Nude Cashmere, and this is the one that comes in 15. It's not that I don't like it, it's just that I don't feel like it serves much of a purpose except being a primer. It's too light. It's the same, pretty much the same shade as the Painterly from MAC. I have used it as a base, as an eyeshadow base, especially for a Super Shock shadow. I've used that a couple times. However, that's not what I bought this for. I bought this for a one and done shadow. So that's the reason why it's coming in at number 15. Again, it's just a very light nude shade. So I'll kind of show you right now what it's like, and you can barely see it. So it is a very light shade. It's just, it does exactly what the other matte shades do. It doesn't budge once it's on, so it does work as a really good base, but again, it's not a great one and done shadow. Now number 14 is from the original formula, and this one is kind of similar. It's just that it's just too light. I don't like it as a one and done shadow. However, I do find purposes for it, and it is the Champagne. So this is Champagne, and I don't like it just on my eye. And so what I use it usually is as a highlight under the brow bone highlight. I did that today, which is really nice. However, and also I did it as an inner corner highlight as well. So I do like it for that. But as for one and done shadow, it's a little too light. I'm pale, so I don't, maybe some people like it. But for me, it's just too pale. But it's really a pretty, like I said, brow bone highlight. But again, as a one and done shadow, it's just too light for me. So I forgot to mention, I am going to swatch them all at the end. So if you just want to fast forward to that, you can go down to the description box. There should be a timestamp. But number 13 is kind of the opposite of Champagne, and it is Chocolate Bronze. And the reason why is Chocolate Bronze is just, I don't know, it's just, I wouldn't even say it's too dark. I just don't like the way it looks on my eye. If I want more of a smoky eye, I'm gonna go for the chocolate matte version of the Eyes to Mesmerize, which is Chocolate Veil. But this one, I like it, but I just find that if I'm looking for a dark eye, this is one that I just don't reach for. I reach for the matte one more. And that leads us to number 12, which is Chocolate Veil. Chocolate Veil is the chocolate brown matte version of the one that just came out. And I thought I was gonna like, I do like this one. But if I'm going for a smoky eye, I find myself going for Smokey Taupe or the Diffused Black. The brown is just, it's just not what I reach for. So I do like it. This is a swatch of it. And I do like it, but I find myself liking the cooler tones more than this one. And if I want more of a neutral color, I'm gonna go for the Flawless Beige. So I was surprised. I really liked it when I first put it on, but I just find myself not reaching for it. So I do like it when I wear it, but it's just one that I just don't find myself reaching for. So rounding out the first 5, number 11 is Oyster Pearl. So Oyster Pearl is described as an oyster gold, and it's pretty light. I would say it's on the lighter side, and it's definitely cool toned, which I can go for both. But again, it's one that I just feel like it's a little too light for me. I know some people really, really like this one. I just, it's just one that I don't reach for as often. I do like it when I put on. There, like I said, there isn't one that I don't like. I probably, with the champagne and the Nude Cashmere, those are ones that I just never use. I use these a lot. I use these every day for work. This is what I use when I'm trying to get ready really fast. So I think I do like them all, but these bottom 5 are the ones that I probably use the least. So it is what it is, but this is Oyster Pearl. Again, it's really pretty. This is the swatch, but again, I just don't find myself reaching for it. So now we're into the top 10, and these are ones that I definitely use more often. And number 10 is the Diffused Black. So Diffused Black is one of the matte ones that just came out. And you can tell I haven't really used it that much just because it's going to give you a very smoky eye. I wore it for the actual video, and then I think I've worn it twice since then. It's just one of those things. And it's one of those colors that I need to go somewhere, and honestly the 2 times that I have worn it, it's just to kind of play around with it. So it is a beautiful black, and it does, when you put it on the eye, it can be very, very dark, but it you can diffuse it out. Like it literally diffused black. You can blend it out and kind of shade it out. Now with these, I didn't mention this already, with these, you have to work fast. You cannot waste time. So if you watch me when I did it, I put it on and then I diffused it really fast. If you waste a lot of time, it's gonna dry down and it's not going to be blended out. You also can't layer them. So if you're trying, these are meant to be one and done shadows. You can layer them with the creamy, the shiny one, the original formula, but you cannot layer the 2 mattes together. And that was one of the things I did see other YouTubers do with content creators, is they were trying to layer it or put half on one eye and half of the other, and that wasn't gonna work. So I knew that from when I was putting it on. To me, these are one and done shadows, and that's what I used it for. The black, the only reason why it is number 10 is just because I don't wear black often, but to give me that smoky eye, this one does allow me to do that. I was shocked when I used it on camera and how much I loved it. So, and I've played around with it more. What I really love is if I have the Hourglass Scattered Glitter eyeshadow or Super Shock shadow, you put this on the base and you put this on top, and man, does it make the eyeshadow pop. It gives you, it's just amazing. Also with, I was playing around with it and I tried it with some of the Pat McGrath shadows. So really amazing, the Diffused Black. You either, I think with these, the mattes, you're either gonna love it or you hate it. I love them, but I find purposes for each. And the Diffused Black, as you can see, kind of falls in the middle, and it's just because I just don't wear a smoky eye very often. Okay, number 9 is one of the newer shades of the original formula, and it is the Walk of No Shame. So this one came out a couple months ago. I didn't get it right away because I had so many, and then I just finally, there was a sale, so I got this one and Pillow Talk. And I really like it. There's nothing wrong with this. This one is described as a russet rose cream eyeshadow with a golden peach sparkle. So, I really like it. It is really, really pretty. I think it's probably better with someone with a little darker skin tone. And I think it's probably one of the reasons why it's a little bit lower is just because I I tend to gravitate more towards the rosy or the copper shades and not the peachy shades. So this is probably a little bit more peachy than I prefer. I do really like it, and every once in a while, this is something that I will wear. It is fairly new to my collection, so I probably haven't worn it as much either, but I do really like it. Like I said, it's just one of those that I don't gravitate as much to peach as I do with the pink and the copper tones. Number 8 is, I think this was the first Eyes to Memorize that I ever got, and I believe I got it in the mystery box, and it is Amber Gold. So Amber Gold, it is a gold that's kind of bronzy, I guess is kind of how I would describe it. And I really like it. This convinced me to purchase more of the Eyes to Mesmerize. Once I started using this, I never was interested in it. When I got it in the mystery box, I was like, oh, okay. And then I didn't use it for a long time. And then when finally I used it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I played around with it. It is a little bit of a learning curve but once you learn how to put them on and how it works, they're amazing. They're so fast. So Amber Gold, it's just, it's a really pretty, everyday, beautiful shade. So I really like it, and I don't really have anything to say. It's just it kind of fell middle of the pack. Number 7 is my second favorite of the new matte formula. And this one kind of surprised me, especially when I was ranking. I was surprised that this one ranked second of those 5, and it is Flawless Beige. So this is Flawless Beige. This I think is the second lightest shade, but the middle shades are all kind of very similar in shades, which I'll show you at the end of the swatches, or you can watch the original video. But here is the swatch of Flawless Beige, and this I feel like is a great everyday shade, everyday color. It lasts all day. It gives you just a hint of color, great for work, great for, I wore this when my husband and I went on the Freedom of the Seas recently, and it was just him and I. This was what I was wearing when we went to Coco Cay. We were going to the beach. I didn't want to put on a lot of makeup. I just put on like a tinted moisturizer, some mascara, and I put on the Flawless Beige. And when I tell you, this stuff lasted all day. Like, it just didn't budge. We were outside, and then I went and took a nap, went back to the room, we took a nap, and then I got a massage. So I had a massage and I had my face down, and again, this stuff did not budge. So that's the one thing I love about the matte formula, is that it doesn't budge. Once it's on there, it doesn't budge. It's also one of the reasons why I think a lot of people don't like it, because you have to work really, really fast. But I think this one, the Flawless Beige, like, this is one, we're going on another cruise. Yes, we're going on another cruise. We're going on another cruise in March, and this one and the one that's ranked number 1 will definitely be ones that I will be taking with us, because I think these are great for the day when we're going to be at the beach or we're going to be doing an excursion. I think these matte formulas are perfect for that. So number 6 is one that's new to my collection. It's not new to Charlotte Tilbury, but it's new to my collection, and it is Rose Gold. So again, original formula, and it was one of the ones that I just didn't have, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this ranking, I should own every shade. So this was one, and then when they added the matte formulas, so I really like it the minute I got it. Now this one is lighter than the other ones that I'm going to rank, but I love the way that this one looks on my eye. I guess it's just the shade. It's just a really pretty rose gold. And when I do the swatches later on, I'm gonna try and put the colors that are similar next to each other so you can kind of see the comparison, because I think that finds it very, very helpful. But this one I really just love. I think this one is similar. This is kind of in the Charlotte Tilbury genre, where it's like the Pillow Talk, and even though there is a shade Pillow Talk, but this is kind of that, this shade reminds me of Charlotte Tilbury. So number 6 is Rose Gold. So now we're into the top 5, and number 5 is the number 1 of the new matte formulas, and it is Smokey Taupe. So Smokey Taupe was one that I liked when I first put it on, and I thought, wow, I like this, and I like Diffused Black. But as I've started wearing this one, this is the one that I gravitate towards the most. This is the one that I wear most for work. This one in Flawless Beige. I feel like this one is the most versatile. It is the middle shade. It's the middle darkest shade. So it kind of is somewhere in between. I think it just looks so beautiful. I think it's a cool tone. It's very flattering. And I think it also is really good under one of the Hourglass, you know, the glitter eyeshadow, or Super Shock, or any of the Pat McGrath, whatever her special shades, her Bliss Astral shades. I think it looks really pretty, and it's very, very versatile. So this is one that I tend to gravitate towards more. So like I said, I do prefer the original formula more. But of the matte one, the Smokey Taupe, if you were gonna buy, if you just wanted to try the matte formula, then I would recommend Smokey Taupe. I think Smokey Taupe is the best one. If you wanted to go lighter, you could do Flawless Beige, but I think Smokey Taupe to me is the best shade. Now, number 4 is the one that is discontinued. It was limited edition and it is discontinued. However, there is another shade coming up that is almost exactly the same. It's a little bit different, but you're not gonna notice it on the eye. So number 4 is Sunset Rose. So here is Sunset Rose, and it is described as a dusty rose pink cream eyeshadow. So again, this one came out with Fire Rose, with the palette, that Fire Rose that was limited edition and you can't get anymore. This came out the same time along with another shade that is coming up. And I love this one. I wear it all the time. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful shade. I can't say anything wrong about it. The only thing is that you just can't get it. So unfortunately it is discontinued. It is limited edition, but if you didn't get it, hold on one second. So number 3 is the shade that's almost the same and is also one of the newer shades. So it is Pillow Talk. So here is Pillow Talk, and I still have, this is Sunset Rose, and I'm going to swatch Pillow Talk right next to it. And when I tell you, they are pretty similar. So there's just a slight difference. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There is a slight difference, but it's very, very minimal. So this is Sunset Rose, and this is Pillow Talk. So there's the two. It definitely, in the container, Sunset Rose definitely looks more dusty, but again, on the hand, this is Sunset Rose, this is Pillow Talk. It's very minimal, and then on the eye, it's very minimal. So when I got it, I actually thought they were the same shade. I was like, I can't believe they just renamed it and I bought the same shade. There's subtle difference. So Pillow Talk is described as pretty pink cream eyeshadow with a rose gold sparkle. So again, so minimal. You're not gonna notice it on the eye. So if you have Sunset Rose and you don't have Pillow Talk, you don't need Pillow Talk. Use Sunset Rose and then get Pillow Talk. However, if you wanted Sunset Rose and you couldn't get it, then get Pillow Talk. So I forgot to mention that I'm actually wearing Pillow Talk today. So that is what I'm wearing today, if you were wondering. And like I said, I'm wearing Pillow Talk with the Champagne as a brow bone highlight and inner corner highlight, but I am wearing Pillow Talk. So number 1 and 2, 1 is the clear winner. But I noticed when I was kind of doing my rankings and then writing their descriptions, some of them had descriptions, some of them didn't, but both of these are coppery tones. So I think there's a trend. I like coppery tones. That's kind of what I like. The Natasha Denona Bronze palette is one. The Copper Charge from Charlotte Tilbury is one of my favorite quads. So copper is something that I gravitate towards. So number 2 is the Star Gold. So this is part of her, I guess, this is probably one of the original shades, if not the original shade. This one you can tell I've used a lot. This was one of the shades that I got pretty early on. And it is described as a gold eyeshadow with bronze and copper undertones. So let's go ahead and swatch it. And you can see it's definitely gold with just, you know, copper undertones. Like you can tell, it's a very, very good description. So if you like warm tones, if you like copper, if you like the Natasha Denona bronze palette, or you have blue eyes, I find, you know, people with blue eyes, you know, look great in copper. It brings out your eyes. Then Star Gold is definitely one that you should probably get. I think personally, it's one of my favorites. And as you can see, I've used it a lot. And my number one Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize is Copper Sunrise. So Copper Sunrise is described as a pink toned copper cream. This came out, I want to say, Christmas 2020. It came out around the same time as the Fire Rose Quad and the Sunset Rose shade, and I believe it's limited edition. The website just says out of stock, so I'm not sure if it is ever coming back in stock. I haven't seen it in stock in a while, but it is one of my favorite. Actually, it is my favorite. I try not to wear it as much because I can't get it anymore, which is silly because it is probably going to expire before I ever can use it up anyway. But it is such a gorgeous shade. I love it. Again, I love coppery tones. I love the Natasha Denona bronze, the copper charge. Those are the types of tones that I tend to gravitate towards. Those, I think, are the ones that make my blue eyes pop. And being blonde hair, blue eyes, the copper, I just feel, is the most flattering to me. So it makes sense that the top two shades both have coppery undertones in them. So Copper Sunrise, I hope it comes back because I think it's a beautiful shade, but, or maybe they just reformulate it and name it something else, or kind of, so it's almost the same, because it is my favorite. And I almost hesitated putting it number one because you can't get it, but at least not right now. But number one for my Eyes to Mesmerize is Copper Sunrise. So what I'm going to do now is some swatches. So I'm first going to swatch the 5 matte shades, and then I'm going to swatch the 10 original formula Eyes to Mesmerize. And I'm not going to necessarily put them in the order that I ranked them. I'm going to put them in order so that I'm putting similar shades. I'm going to put probably Star Gold and Copper Sunrise together since they both have coppery undertones. Definitely Pillow Talk and Sunrise, Sunset Rose next to each other so you can kind of see the differences. So I want to give you an idea of what they look like side by side. So if you're between, you don't want to get all 10 shades like myself, then, and you're in between, hopefully that will help you decide which one you want. Okay, so here are the swatches of the Eyes to Mesmerize matte formula. So the first one you'll see here is Nude Cashmere. This is Flawless Beige, Smokey Taupe, Chocolate Veil, and then the last one is Diffused Black. So one of the things I did notice is Flawless Beige and Smokey Taupe are very similar in tone, and that's probably why those are my top two. So Flawless Beige is a little warmer, whereas Smokey Taupe is a little cooler, but they're pretty much the same, I guess, depth of color. So it makes sense that those are my two favorites, but this is the matte swatches of the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. I also want to show you how difficult it is to get these off. So here is a makeup wipe, and they don't come off. So that's what these are all about. Like, they just don't budge. So I actually need to get an oil cleanser to get this off. And here we have the swatches of the original formula. So from left to right, we'll have Oyster Pearl, Champagne, Chocolate Bronze, Sunset Rose, Pillow Talk, Rose Gold, Amber Gold, Star Gold, Copper Sunrise, and Walk of No Shame. So as you can see, the Copper Sunrise and Star Gold, they both have a copper undertone, but still a little different. Obviously, Sunset Rose and Pillow Talk almost look alike. You probably, I mean, sometimes I can't tell, sometimes I can, depending on the light. And honestly, Walk of No Shame and Copper Sunrise, Walk of No Shame just seems like a little bit darker version of Copper Sunrise, obviously a little bit peachier, but very, very kind of the same undertone. So I'm surprised it ended up so far on my list. And then these three on the end just kind of aren't as similar to anything, but those are the 10 shades of the original formula that I own. So there you have it. Those are my rankings for the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize cream eyeshadows, both original formula and the matte formula. So if you have your favorites, definitely leave it in the comments below. Which one's your favorite? How would you rank? Which ones do you have? Do you not have? Let me know if you have like some of the shades that I don't have. There's not that many that I don't have, but if you have those, where would you put them? Are they your favorites as well? I always love, when people comment of what their favorites are. And then also, if you are one of the fans of the matte formula, leave it below as well, because I'd like to find somebody else that likes them. But with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.